Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Now, most of us know David Guetta as an absolute electronic dance music legend, right? The guy who's literally been providing the soundtrack to our summers for well over a decade. But today, we're not just looking at his discography. We're going to dive into a staggering financial case study. We are going to deconstruct the business model of a man who took a 35-year career and seamlessly transformed himself from an underground club DJ into a massive, multinational corporate entity. So you might be wondering, how exactly does a DJ build a $250 million empire? That's the ultimate question we're answering today. We're going to break down the exact machinery behind modern music wealth. Because let me tell you, reaching this level of financial success takes way more than just having a good ear for a catchy beat. It requires relentless strategy, a flawless understanding of intellectual property, and a totally tireless work ethic. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer jaw-dropping scale of his wealth. Looking at his projected net worth for 2025 and 2026, experts are placing it right in this massive window, $200 million to $250 million. This isn't just successful musician money anymore. This is flat-out mogul territory. To understand exactly how he amassed this kind of fortune, we really need to pull back the curtain on how the modern music industry actually operates. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, the net worth reveal. Second, his live revenue engine. Third, royalties and that massive catalog sale. And finally, real estate and his future. Section 1. The net worth reveal. Joining the industry titans. So when you look at the landscape, David Guetta's massive wealth places him in a highly exclusive, ultra-elite tier of DJs. We're talking about a very, very small club of electronic artists who have crossed that multi-hundred-million-dollar threshold. He's competing directly with huge household names like Calvin Harris and Tiesto. Honestly, these guys aren't just DJs anymore. They're individual economies. They headline the biggest festivals on the planet and command some of the absolute highest fees in the entire entertainment world. Moving right along to Section 2, the live revenue engine. Sweat equity. Let's break down his staggering $30 to $40 million annual income. Look at that massive slice right there. 65%, which is roughly $20 to $30 million, comes strictly from touring. Sure, his royalties bring in $5 to $10 million, and his production work and brand endorsements add another $7 to $15 million, but it's crystal clear that live performances are the absolute bedrock of his wealth. Even in the age of streaming, he's actively out there working for the lion's share of his millions every single year. And to pull in $20 to $30 million a year just from shows, well, you need unprecedented global touring demand. Guetta isn't just playing a few weekends a year. He is constantly moving, fulfilling these intense worldwide tour schedules and completely dominating highly lucrative residencies in places like Ibiza. His stamina and his ability to draw massive crowds night after night is really the engine driving his entire empire. Which leads us to this absolutely massive figure, over $1 million. That is his peak earning power for a single live performance. I mean, just think about that for a second. Over $1 million for one night of work. When you can command that kind of fee for a headlining festival slot or a major corporate gig, it becomes incredibly easy to see how that $30 to $40 million annual income stacks up so fast. Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Royalties and catalog sale, the passive windfall. His music catalog holds unbelievable financial weight. We're looking at over 10 million albums sold, over 65 million singles, and a mind-bending 30 billion streams on Spotify alone. 30 billion! And these aren't just vanity metrics for bragging rights. In the music business, every single one of those streams and sales is a microtransaction. When you have 30 billion of them, those tiny fractions of a penny turn into a massive, surging river of passive yearly income. But how exactly did he get those numbers? Well, he basically pioneered what we call the DJ plus pop star formula. Before his breakthrough 2009 album One Love, EDM and mainstream pop were pretty much operating in completely separate lanes, but he bridged that gap by teaming up with huge vocalists like Kelly Rowland on When Love Takes Over, Akon, and of course Sia on the absolute mega hit Titanium. He created a blueprint for chart dominance. He essentially forced electronic dance music onto top 40 radio, and in doing so, he exponentially multiplied his audience and his revenue. And all of that strategic chart dominance culminated in this monumental business milestone, an estimated $100 to $150 million deal for his catalog.
This was a real game changer. This is the exact moment his financial trajectory fundamentally shifted. He wasn't just a highly paid working DJ anymore. He was a wildly wealthy mogul who had just sold a piece of his intellectual property for a completely life-changing lump sum. It's the ultimate payday in the industry, and it pretty much guaranteed his $250 million status overnight.
Which brings us to Section 4, Real Estate and Future. Tangible assets. And this brilliantly illustrates just how wild his journey has been. It's a dramatic, almost cinematic contrast. He started out as a 14-year-old kid in the 1980s, grinding it out in underground Paris clubs, dealing with real financial instability while trying to break into a fiercely competitive scene. Today, he sits on a luxury real estate portfolio in Miami and Ibiza that's valued at a cool $20 to $40 million. It's just a stunning realization of how far sheer persistence, talent, and smart business moves can actually take you. So, what does this all mean for his future? Experts are already charting his path to blow right past the $300 million mark. And the drivers for this future wealth are rock solid. His touring demand shows absolutely zero signs of slowing down. The catalog he still owns will appreciate in value, global streaming is only going up, and those massive brand partnerships just keep adding millions to his bottom line. Simply put, his financial future is structurally bulletproof. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. Will the DJ plus pop star financial model that David Guetta so brilliantly pioneered ever be topped? As the music industry keeps evolving with artificial intelligence and entirely new platforms, can another artist actually replicate this exact blueprint to reach $250 million? Or was Guetta's empire a perfectly timed, one-of-a-kind phenomenon? It's definitely something fascinating to think about the next time you hear one of his hits blasting on the radio. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning how the world around you really works.